Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
can
now
hear you,
Powered
man.
by
we
Riverside
are live
FM.
and recording.
We're recording already. Shucks, man.
Yep.
The one funny thing I want to brag today before I
Mhm.
say anything is that you are late. I'm always a late one for the first time in all 5 episodes. I'm early.
Yeah, man, I had to do something earlier, but I'm here now. I tried my best.
Nah, all good, man. All good. Another
Yeah.
week end, another Sunday evening, another
Yes.
conversation, another good time for our listeners. How are you feeling, by the way?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. I was watching F1 earlier and yeah, I was impressed with the results. I'm a Formula One
Just
kind
listen,
of guy.
just listen to him brag. Formula
Yeah,
One kind of
Formula
guy.
One.
Just listen
No.
to that.
Yeah, like,
Us, us, us,
you
us. We in the
know,
dust. Us here in South Africa, we in the dust. We watching guys spinning cars, man. That's
uh,
our
for,
formula. That's our
you know,
maximum we can get to.
I started watching Formula One early 2000s when it was still being sponsored by Gillette and
Oh yes, I
Marlboro. Yeah,
remember. I
Marlboro.
remember.
Yeah.
And
So
that was
yeah,
a while
since
ago.
then I've been.
It's actually quite a cool sport to actually follow. I find it weird how they categorize that thing as a sport because there's nothing physical about it except for
Amen.
the guys that are just like on the engineering side of things. But I don't know.
Amen. Even the
My
drivers,
opinion.
man. Even the drivers, there's a lot that goes into them driving. I mean, have you seen how tough their necks are? Those guys have got thick, tough necks because they need those necks.
Sharp turns, eh?
Yeah.
We must give we must force them to drink coffee. Maybe I can now then start understanding their language because I me this whole driving thing, not my kind of thing, not my kind of sports.
Amen. I think until you go there and experience it in person, you'll understand. It's more emotional than football.
I don't even watch football, man. You know what? Let's leave this topic alone because I
Yeah,
feel like we're
let's.
gonna start becoming a very emotional.
All right, man. How are things going your side?
No, um, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to lie to you. I think everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
Been putting a lot of work on it. But yeah, I can't complain personally. I think I always never leave room to complain anymore. I complain about minor things. I think I've been complaining to you this past couple of hours. It's minor things that I complain about, but then in real stuff, I just let them loose.
Yeah, things are going. I would say going good or just letting them be.
Just let be. I
These are
just let
true.
be now. I'm happy with what's going on. It's good. It's good for my mind.
Yes, the less you stress, the better.
Yeah, man. I have so
Mhm.
much coffee to a point that yeah, I just end up easing into it. I think that's my only high right now that I can utilize for me to just get through. So I'm good.
Yeah, to think I haven't had coffee since Friday. I've been chilled and I actually reduced my coffee intake.
That's actually something new. From the way I know you with your coffee intake, I'm actually surprised that you're telling me that you last had coffee on a Friday, which is a big step. I must congratulate you on that one. I don't know how long it took you to get to that level, but the way I know you, it's always like it's always been caffeine everywhere.
Yeah, I started valuing my sleep, you know. Yeah,
Oh, I see, I
because I
see.
never slept enough because but eventually I was like, you know what, I need to start sleeping more. And yeah, it's working, man.
Now, for sure, I think caffeine always has this thing on people where it does play a huge factor on their sleep and stuff like that. And you'd get somebody end up not having a balanced life because they hardly sleep. They're always on their coffee game every time. 2 minutes, 2 minutes this, 2 minutes, 2 minutes that caffeine. I think that's a good step. It's actually something that we should talk about at some stage. And I hope that we get a doctor in place that could tell us more about it, because I would lie. I don't know much about that physics with caffeine intake, and I know the basics, but like I think it would be good for our listeners to get a proper dive in deep from a medical perspective.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We should organize that, man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
But
Mhm.
apart from that, let's get to it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Funny enough, we actually just started this conversation without even talking to our audience, which we are so rude, man. This is bad. We need to fix ourselves.
Yeah, they've gotten used to it now.
It's like they just hop on onto a
They know.
moving train.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, they'll find us ahead. But anyways, we need to be nice, polite, and have some manners.
You need to. I have manners. I always greet them, but sometimes I don't. I think I should do it
I mean,
first.
you greet
I
on
don't
my
know what it is.
behalf.
Maybe some of them can leave a comment on based on that, and I just want to get the feeling on how they they think about that whole on just catching a moving train. I like it though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, just leave a poll or this thing, what you call it, on Instagram where they can respond.
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe they can let us know there. But anyways, guys, thanks for dialing in. Thanks for tuning in. Today is officially our sixth episode. And it's been good so far. We've been getting so much good feedback. A lot of personal messages coming through. Um, on Instagram, a couple of comments here and there. I think, yeah, it's hard to capture all the the results, or I don't know. I'll just call them results for now. Because some of them come in as a call, some come in as a voice note, on WhatsApp or Instagram or you know iMessage and stuff like that. So we just want to thank you guys for actually supporting and just giving yourself that 20-25 minutes just to listen to us talk a whole lot of bunch of nonsense and also educate you guys.
Yes, definitely. And
Yeah, man.
on the previous episode, we had spoken about fair trade, and we said we're gonna
Oh
touch
yeah,
on it
I
again.
remember.
Yeah.
I think that was a very strong conversation we were having there. I
Hmm.
know it shifted slowly into a little bit of some farmers and stuff like that, and we're still hoping to get somebody that's a farmer sooner or later so that we can actually conversate with them from their level of understanding on what actually goes down more, because we we also know or have knowledge about it, but I think it's nicer when it comes from that actual person that's been there and done it and does it every day. Maybe if they're doing it every day, I think it'll be a cool thing.
Yeah, most definitely. That can be organized. A lot of things can be organized now with the internet and
Yeah.
stuff.
Eish, what would we do without the internet? What would we do without fair trade itself? Let's talk fair trade.
Yes. So, for those who do not know, fair trade is a movement that makes global trade more fair. So it's not only strictly with coffee, but there's tea as well and other commodities that are farmed. Actually, I'd say products that are farmed in developing countries. So it could be coffee,
Yeah.
cacao, or cocoa, or chocolate. You know, there's clothes, cotton, tobacco. So I'd say it's more like a regulatory board, but I'd like to call it a movement. that makes global trade
Yeah,
fairer.
yeah. And the nice thing about fair trade, that I've learned about is that these guys actually represent the whole movement and ethical sourcing that benefits the farmers from their wages. Like your maybe previously they never actually got paid properly. Who knows? I wouldn't have a proper answer to that. One like hence I said if we get to that point where we get a farmer in, it will be easier for us to actually be able to get those kind of answers on how it used to happen before the whole fair trade came in. Um, and these kind of organizations also look after their working conditions, the environments, and just empowers them on continuing on helping them to continue to do what they do. Because without these farmers, I don't think anybody would be okay right now with this whole coffee thing happening and how people like their coffee.
Yeah, and also after fair trade came into the game, they made sure that the farmers get some fair pay, so the minimum price and the extra money that is needed for community projects and stuff like that. Then they improved the working conditions, made the farming practices more eco-friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also like brought in transparency, on in terms of
to
how
the
the
whole trade.
goods, yeah, to the
Yeah,
whole trade, like how goods start, like from bean to cup, and they to ensure that there's ethical practices along the line. And yeah,
I think these guys played a very huge role with this whole structure and actually putting a little bit of some law and order towards the whole industry, not only in coffee but every other trade gains, because I think it would have had a very negative impact towards if you look at it carefully as a consumer or as somebody that goes into the shop or wherever, be it it's a garage, a coffee shop, or wherever that I'm getting my coffee from or whatsoever that I'm buying at that moment. And I'm buying at an X amount of price and paying for that, leaving that amount there, and then getting my product. Cool, happy days, right? And then the person that I bought from goes back to the farmer, and if just let's say the farmer gave the salesman whatever it is, maybe it's coffee on consignment. The guy could just say, "Hey, listen, I didn't sell that stuff, and it became stale. I threw it out." Or guys have these funny things when they're trading, and I think that's why they had to chip in this kind of system in place so that it can control and govern everything in terms of coffee trading and any other trading that involves fair trade. I think it's a powerful thing, and it's actually it's phenomenal how they actually thought of this, because I don't know, whoever thought of this, super smart. I think they need a bells.
yeah, that's true. But then a lot of farmers now, a lot of roasters actually, they're starting to directly go to the farmers and buy coffee from them. Because with fair trade, the coffee price, the coffee started becoming too expensive. Because yeah,
Oh,
as
okay.
much yes, remember,
Yeah.
fair trade is also an organization. They have their admin and everything. So
That.
in a way,
Yeah.
they cut off the middleman, which is fair trade, and they go straight to the farmer and buy from the farm at fair pricing and give it back to the community. Now,
Yeah.
however, there's
But
also like there's new guys that came in recently. For example, Sukafina. So those guys, they work similarly to fair trade, but for them, the more like they connect the roaster to the farmer. They're like, okay, listen, you want a
yeah,
specific type of coffee, certain grade and all that. There's this farmer. Talk to them, or they can go on your
talk to them. Yeah.
behalf. Yeah, but the pricing is okay. It's not as expensive, but it's still fair for both sides.
For both sides, yeah. At least there's been a law and order placed in between this whole line because
Yeah,
assumingly that previously it was just chaotic. It was just another type of craziness involved, but at least it became governed to a certain
yeah,
way whereby it's organized correctly.
yeah, and also yeah, with the new guys coming in, they actually like the levels of sustainability and specialty. They like went to a different level with them, because yeah, they introduced some eco-friendly farming. They came up with technologies that help the farmers save water. They've got
Yeah,
some softwares that can determine and predict sustainable coffee growing regions, right? And also, instead of using harmful chemicals for, excuse me, instead of using harmful chemicals as pesticides, they managed to come up with some organic stuff that works.
so now with these guys, I don't know if you've got this kind of information which I'm about to ask. Do they work like, do they deal with specific regions, or is it like a worldwide thing right now, or is it specifically in those big commercial farms, maybe in your typical Brazil, where they like push heavier volumes, or is it like placed everywhere within the coffee
So
belt region?
it's everywhere. There's different companies for different regions also. So I'd say
Yeah,
as a whole, they cover everywhere. And not only do they like they go beyond the farm in terms of sustainability. So
sure.
yeah,
It's
you
quite
get
interesting.
like cafe waste reduction, so in terms of plastic waste, you know, the
Yeah.
the pods and the reduction of fertilizer, or just fuel as a whole. Those guys have come in and revolutionized everything in terms of sustainability and speciality. And yeah, man, if I go and there's a lot of things that they came in, you get certification. For example, let's say the coffee, if it's bought under fair trade, I would say what laws or rules,
Yeah.
it gets a specific certification. Then you get the Rainforest Alliance, what to call it, Fair Trade Rainforest Alliance that ensure it's eco-friendly with it was bought at fair pricing.
Hmm.
Then you take it
Quite
to the
interesting.
roast, yeah, you take it to the roasting as well. The green coffee roasting. We are
Yeah.
working with roasting machine manufacturers to develop coffee roasting machines that are more energy efficient. You know, Instead of using a certain amount of gas or electricity, they now use
Yeah.
less due to the new, more efficient technology.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, there's a lot that they came in and did that's
It's,
affecting sustainability in the specialty coffee sector.
it's actually amazing how they integrated this whole system together and like merged it with this new whole technology and stuff like that, from like from the way it used to be done, like the standard traditional way. It's such an amazing thing where they also look out for like environmental, um is it should I say factors? I'm not sure what the right word to use there, but it's just, I think they're trying as much as they can to like really keep everything together while it's still producing good quality of coffee, from roasting it from green to an actual coffee bean that's ready to be grinded and served into your espresso cup or whatsoever.
Yeah, true, man. And what I like is the transparency that these guys have.
They
So
always transparent,
they're
yeah.
very transparent. Like if you want to know more about the farm, you've got the information. They'll provide it for you. How they do the whole shipping process, everything, all the information is available in their websites. I mean, even to how the coffee is roasted, everything is available. That's what I like. Transparency.
Speaking of the roast, speaking of the coffee being roasted,
Hmm.
it's something I think we once spoke about off the record, which I think I would really like to touch base on here as
Yeah,
well. Um, from my actual personal understanding, um, there's different types of roast profiles, right?
yeah, yeah,
The one thing I always wanted to know, and I still get confused to understand this. How does as as somebody that's within the coffee space actually develop a roast profile? Like what does it take for them to understand that kind of level of information to be able to develop a roast profile and say this specific origin of bean is good enough to be roasted in this way for this time and this,
Mhm.
how that, I don't know if you can, if you've got proper information to just walk us through that science in it, or maybe that technicality of it on that sense.
It's actually a very simple answer. Sample roasting. So
Yeah,
they get green coffee beans and they put it in a
yeah,
small sample roaster and try out different roast levels. So roast levels being light, medium. Okay, these days most of the time they just go to up to medium, especially in specialty.
yeah.
But yes, between light and medium, they play around between those two because for your espresso, you want something which is more developed towards the medium side. Then if you're doing like pour overs and all that, you want something a bit lighter. So the guys they
Yeah.
play around such, and also they take into consideration the characteristics of the bean. How the density, the
Mm,
origin, and etc. Even the just the varietal of the bean.
of the
Some of the
bean, the
beans are
processing
quite,
of it. Yeah.
yeah, some are tough, some are brittle, and the processing as well. Is it a natural coffee? Is it washed, semi-washed, and all that? So by using simple roasters, they can experiment because it's all about experimenting, man. They can experiment
Yeah.
and find something that actually works with that specific bean. So that's how they
It's actually,
develop a profile for it. Yeah, because different beans have got different profiles.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's actually amazing how these guys actually thought of such. Because I mean, if I look at it carefully, I don't know. Maybe I'm a lazy thinker personally myself. Okay, no, let me admit, I am one. I'm very much a lazy thinker. I don't like to expand my thoughts that much. I do at a certain level, and then I quickly get exhausted. I get tired. I think too hard, and
Yeah, yeah.
then I reach certain level or percentage, and then I blow that top, and then I'll be like, no, no, I can't think any more further. Let me leave
Yeah,
this
yeah.
alone. The
Uh-huh.
fact that guys actually sit in and sample roast different single origins and be able to actually pull out roast profiles for them, I think that's just like a phenomenal level of thinking. And after that, moving into actually sampling that coffee um as a cupping session, something called cupping, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But now, before the cupping, does it go through the Q grading part where they grade, or does that happen before
Mm.
um during the profiling of the coffee when they sample roast it?
Okay, so in terms of Q grading, that happens at the farms. Like that's a
Oh, that
different story.
okay.
Yeah, that's a very different, and I think we'll have to talk about it
Okay.
in the near future.
Okay.
So the Q
Okay.
grading determines the value of the coffee, like out of not the value but the quality, out of a
The
scale of
quality.
100. Yeah. So your
Yeah.
specialty being 85 going up, but I will talk about that. Anyways, back to
Yeah.
the profile creation. So
Yeah.
a lot of coffee roasters these days use some softwares, and in those softwares, um, let's say someone in Germany can roast a coffee and it works. They can take that profile upload it to the server of the software they use if they want and share
Yeah.
it with other people. So, for example, I just go in, I just search this certain amount of Ethiopia. I am best here. How can I best roast it? So I'll get at least I wouldn't say like, yeah, more like I'll get some guidelines and you know have an idea on
Yeah.
what to do. I might not roast it exactly how the other person roasted it, but at least I'll know like, okay, I just have
You,
to play around with it like this, like that, like that.
yeah. A little bit of
Yeah,
reference.
exactly. So
Hmm.
that's how it's easier now to create profiles. Yeah.
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 It's
And
it's yeah.
yeah, now I was gonna go straight to the roasting levels also.
Okay, shoot straight. Because I think
Yeah.
that's where I was also trying to head to myself. But I just want to hear like how with the roasting levels, what did you want to say?
Okay, so how coffee roasting happens. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about roasting soon. Like there's a lot you need to talk about. But in
On
terms
the
of roast levels, there's the three main roast levels: the light, medium, and the dark. Right?
yeah,
And how those are achieved is through time and temperature. Your
time
lighter
and temperature.
roast, yes, your lighter roast, of course, they use a lower temperature and lesser time.
That's a time,
Medium,
yeah.
yeah, like as they go up, medium is more, dark is the most. Yeah.
So out of interest,
Mm-hmm.
before I ask you this one, my
Yeah.
personal um roast profile that I enjoy best would be something medium to dark because I'm a milk drinker. I
Yeah.
like it more. I like it a bit. I don't know. Maybe I've got a bitter mind and a bitter heart now. I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know what it is, but I just like my person. Like I personally like my coffee a bit. Yeah, a bit. Yeah, a bit strongish. Like
Mm-hmm.
with that mute hello taste. So I like my medium to dark, or maybe if possible, if I could get like a 50, like two blends, even it could be of the same region of the bean, 50% medium and 50% dark. That gives me a nice good breaking point for my espresso once I dash it up with a little bit of some milk, be it I'm having a cortado or whatsoever ratio of milk I'm having. What is your personal favorite roast profile in coffee, and you know why?
Okay, so for me, I'm between light, maximum outgo is medium. Because it was
Yeah,
until like the past 2 years, I used to be like for espresso, I want something beyond medium and all that. But I
yeah,
started experimenting with light to medium roast espressos. And then I discovered that the amount of flavors that you can pick up from that are insane.
hey,
And
that's correct. Yeah,
once you add milk, but you don't add too much milk, just a little bit of milk, you
just a
can
drop.
just,
Yeah,
yeah, you can just change the whole thing. I mean, if at the end it stops tasting like coffee, but it's a drink that you can enjoy over and over.
yeah.
So for me, for espresso, I would go to like light or medium,
Light to
right?
medium.
Yeah,
Okay.
and same applies for pour overs as well, light to medium. I cannot go beyond medium roast.
What is it? I
Yes,
think you
and
still got a good heart.
yeah, and also you'll be shocked by there's other variables also that I play around with to achieve good taste in coffee at that roast.
Yeah,
For example, like the temperature that I brew the machine, like the coffee in, like,
yeah,
yeah, the water temperature. Then there's the water quality, the water characteristics. There's a whole lot
yeah,
that I incorporate just to achieve what I want in that roast level.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know. I did a bit of some reading
Mm-hmm.
a couple of months ago about types of water and stuff like that, and how much of a role water plays um on unlocking your coffee flavors when brewing, be it it's a pour over, be it you're running on an espresso or whatsoever, be it it's the kind of temperature which you just mentioned now, you
Yeah.
know. a funny fact that I actually picked up, one which I found it very weird. Do you know that the water is so different to a point that the water running on your tap at your personal house and the water running at your neighbor's tap could actually be different.
Yes, that is very true.
I was shocked when I read about that, man. I was like, what?
I actually did a course in water science.
Yeah.
Yeah, during my coffee, when I was so crazy about knowing more about coffee. So,
Oh, I remember. I think you sent me some of that work, and you were like, "Hey, man, just read on to this and stuff like that." And yeah, it was so much, man. It was a bit
yeah.
overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of things that can be found in water. For example, start with just the mineral content. The main ones
Yeah,
being calcium and magnesium. Okay, in terms
yeah,
of the minerals that affect the flavors and in coffee,
yeah.
calcium and magnesium, right? So those two are responsible for the sweetness of coffee and how bright the flavors are, right?
Okay.
Yes, and too much of those, like especially for example, then there's the bad ones. I wouldn't say the bad ones, but you get stuff like sodium.
Yeah,
Sodium always mutes the taste of coffee.
it
So
powers it down. Yeah,
yeah, so that's why you find like there's water filtration systems that remove chlorine, sodium, and other heavy
yeah,
stuff that messes with the
yeah.
quality of the coffee. And you get the total dissolved solids. Okay, I would want to go deep into this because yeah. So
It's quite a steep one.
the total dissolved solids also you have to get like something balanced. If it's too light, the coffee will be just won't be interesting, bland.
Mm,
So, more like water which is too clean and too pure. Yeah, the coffee won't be like
yeah,
100%. But then if you get water with too much dissolved solids, then it's most likely to have a very bitter coffee. So you need something in the middle,
in the
right?
middle, in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you get the pH of the water. So you need something balanced. Okay, I'll say like neutral to just slightly acidic, because if it's too acidic, the coffee is sour. And if it's too alkaline, well, coffee is acidic.
It's
And if you add alkaline to
mm,
acidic, it just becomes flat.
it drops. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we have to post, we have to create maybe if you create like a maybe blog post, an article about this for people
I
to
think it will
read
be
the
actually
yeah,
interesting.
they
Yeah,
would
it will be
understand it
actually very
better. Yeah.
interesting. I remember back in the day when you used to teach me about hard and soft water. I was like, what the hell
Yes.
is this guy talking about, you know?
Yeah, you see. So hard water, soft water being like it's mostly the
Mm,
TDS. Now we call it the
yeah.
TDS.
It's quite hectic, you know? And getting that type of understanding and actually getting in the middle of it perfectly so that you can brew proper coffee with whatever bean you have. It's I think it's an extra skill. It's an extra skill that one should have, but it's important that let's just say when one decides to buy a coffee machine for their house, or for wherever, be it it's for your office or whatsoever, just maybe get somebody to come and like run a little test for your water so that you can understand the quality of water that you have and get a specific filter for it, because not all filters work the way they should. You could find
That's
that
true.
the type of filter you just got, thinking in your mind that no, I do have a filter, is actually meant for soft water, to find that you actually running on a hard water ground level,
Okay.
and you now have a totally incorrect filter for your machine or your own consumption for the with that water that you'd be having off your tap. So it's I think it's an actually important thing to understand what kind of water do you have on your tap. I think that's a
Yes.
question for everybody to try know the level of water that you have. Is it are you drinking hard water, soft water, even the bottled water that you drink or that you buy from the shops?
You know, the
understand what is
interesting part
it.
about bottled water, the bottled water has all the information written there. You can tell that it's written like the amount of dissolved solids, the pH, everything. But people never read that. But if you check just your bottled water, it has all the
It's
information you need.
written.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, guys, let's read. Let's read. I'll put up a blog post about different types of water. Hopefully I can reach different regions. I'll try maybe do something more Southern African, Central, and far north as well. Maybe
Yeah.
let's see how far we can get.
And you know what the interesting part is the southern part of Africa has the best water
Is
for
this
coffee brewing
worldwide or for coffee brewing?
or coffee brewing. I'll say worldwide because yes, I have tasted water from different places,
Yeah,
and so far,
it's
especially Johannesburg, um, a lot of people are brewing coffee with just one simple filter. Whereas where I am right now, you just need a demineralizer, remineralizer, blah blah blah, big filters. But in Johannesburg, some people even run like their coffee machines without any filter. That's how
direct
good the
from the
water
tap.
is.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
yeah.
especially
Now Joburg water
Johannesburg.
is good. Eh?
I mean,
Now
I'd say
Joburg
like
water is have.
for me in the world, I'd say it's the best water because you can just drink it right off the tap and you're okay.
You should be safe. I mean, but people
Yes.
always have this thing like, Joburg water now. Hey, I don't like Joburg water, whatnot, whatnot. I think, yeah,
But
different types of water. I know there's a brand which I don't want to mention their name.
mhm.
It's they once trended as an exquisite as an exquisite brand of water. If one knows, you know. If you don't know,
Yeah,
forget about it.
I heard the
Uh,
story.
Yo, Chief, when I drink the water, I don't know. It just it doesn't vibe with me properly. I don't know. I find it quite weird. It
Yeah,
feels
man,
like it's water from not something worse than a borehole. I don't know what's beyond that, but yeah, it's quite intense.
man, you can just package anything nicely and call it premium and expensive. And yeah, with the right marketing, you can get people to change their minds. But anyways, that's a story for another
Yeah,
day.
story for another day, most
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. But yeah, I think let me plug an article about water. Um, guys, go read. Check it out. Get understand what you actually drinking as an individual from your own personal house, so that at least you know what you're taking in. You know, it's important that you know what you're taking into your body. Don't just drink water not even understanding the type of water that you drink. You know, it's not good. I think that's something that one should be aware of as from today. If you're listening from wherever you are, you don't have to be in South Africa only. But yeah, just try understand the level of water that you have at your house, or the type of water, rather, should I say.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Any thoughts
d-
about what's happening in the coffee in the near future? Do you have anything that you're picking up that could change within the
uh,
coffee space?
not at the moment. I don't have like the full info yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can't just say yeah, I can't say it yet because yeah, I don't want to spread the wrong information. So
Yeah.
not at the
I've got
moment.
one. I've got one full one.
Yeah,
I think in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Um, let me just confirm my calendar, but it should be in actually, yeah, in 2 weeks. No, in actually a week
yeah, yeah,
from now. Yeah, a week and a couple of days. The Coffee Expo in Fourways, South Africa. If you're around, pull through. It's gonna be a cool weekend. It's happening. A lot of networking, um, tasting different types of coffees, meeting different people, different machines. Everything is there. South African products. Couple of farmers will be there. I myself personally am going to be around as well. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be cool. I think if you're around, pull through. If you come across me, come say hi. I will be having a couple of conversations with a few people there on the mic as well, so we can get a little bit of an insight on what's going on. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man, I wish I was there, but hey, next time.
Definitely, man. I know you will pitch up onto the next one. I just don't know the dates as yet, but yeah, I think you might be around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But
All right.
for those that still haven't liked, shared, or subscribed to our podcast, please do. We are on Apple, we are on Spotify, on YouTube. We are coming through with videos soon, soon, soon. We just don't have an actual date for that. And you mentioned that we will be on was it Amazon you said?
Amazon Music. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one
Amazon.
it's quite tricky to set up. I've been waiting for
Yeah.
a response for a while now.
No, definitely we'll be there. We crawling in slowly but surely. But please like, share our content. If you've got any questions, please don't be shy to also pop in something on the comment section there. And yeah, I think from
Yes.
my side, that's it. I don't know what you're feeling on your end.
I'll have some manners today and like say thank you for listening to the Coffee Space and Other Things podcast.
Ah, shout out,
We
shout out.
shall drop another episode again, same time
It'll be the
next week.
seventh one. It'll be the
Yes.
seventh one. I'm so chuffed on how we actually doing this. It's impressive.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah. But shout out for your time, Hutman. Thank you so much for hosting us and sharing so much information. I think if I were to say you're very well knowledged within the space, eh? I don't wanna lie. There's a lot
Yeah,
that
man.
I've been learning myself.
Yeah, I spent like more than 10 years focusing on coffee for at least 5 days a week. But yeah,
I think
thank you for
I
that,
think
man.
when you get this side, I'm going to throw you a little pre-party just for that 10 years. It'll
Hey,
still be
man.
10 years this year, and we need to put that on record.
Okay, you just said it. It's there on record. We'll
It's on
post it.
record. We need to put it on record.
All
But
right,
shout
man.
out, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and until next week, take it
All right,
easy.
man. Thanks, man. See ya.
Sure.